Alright, so one of the things that I read in 2022 were the last two volumes of The Walking Dead, the comic book, anyway. And by the way, spoilers, in case, I'm not really going to be holding back in this video. I'll try to keep it, I'll try not to say too many specific things, but I won't really, this is not a non-spoiler video. Anyway, so, yeah, basically, So recall I picked up the Walking Dead library series at my college and last year in 2021, and I managed to read through all of it. But for whatever reason, the library had all of the comics except for the final two, which are The Rotten Core and Rest in Peace. So basically, because the library didn't have them, I had to buy them. So I finally finished watching the series this year when I got them for I think it was my birthday or was it Christmas? I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, I read the final two volumes of The Walking Dead. So like I said before, I already read the comic book volumes the 1 to 30 last year, and I sort of talked about them and reviewed them. So I'm not going to be really, in this video, I'm going to be narrowing down my focus to these last two comics and not really talking much about the ones that came before. I also just wanted to say that by the time of this recording, I'm not caught up with the show. I've only seen season 11A so far, so technically I know the ending of the comic before the show ends. So, I mean, I know that the ending of the show is obviously not going to be the same as the ending of the comic book, because it's an impossibility, because obviously Carl is dead on the show, and Sophia is dead too. So the things that happen in it are not going to be like how they how they end in the comic book. They're probably going to do something with Judith and have her basically take over Carl's role in everything in the epilogue. But anyway, so yeah, basically regarding the final two volumes of The Walking Dead and what I thought about them, I really didn't think they were great, honestly. I mean, I felt like they were very rushed, which is my main problem. See, here's the thing. A lot of people don't like the TV show, The Walking Dead TV show on AMC, because, it drags out the story from the comic book all the time, and, it adds all these things, and, all this show original filler, you could call it. But, I honestly like that the show does give more time to flesh things out, and I'm hoping they do so with the adaptation of the Commonwealth storyline in the final season. Because here's the thing, in season 11A, they spent all this time, a ton of time on this Reaper storyline, which, while it had some good moments, really felt like filler and really felt like they were padding it out, and I just don't really get it. I just didn't really get it because, I mean, because the thing is, you have this arc in the comic book that is sort of rushed through, in my opinion, the Commonwealth arc, obviously, and, you could choose to spend a lot more time on that, and, but they really didn't spend a ton of time there in season 11A of the show, and I'm hoping, in season 11B and 11C, because you still have 16 more episodes to show, that you really sort of dig deep into the Commonwealth arc and sort of fleshed out a lot more from how it was in the comic book, because, in regards to the Commonwealth storyline in the comic book, I don't know, it didn't really feel that impactful to me. It didn't really feel like it sort of lived up to the potential that it possibly could have. See, here's the thing with the Commonwealth arc. So the final two volumes have to cover Rick and the group getting to the Commonwealth, the establishment of the citizens' resentment towards the Commonwealth, and the escalation of conflict, Rick taking charge, and the conflict being resolved, and then everything that happens in the epilogue. That's a lot of content to cover in these last two volumes. Seriously. I mean, and it doesn't really feel totally organic, in my opinion. I get that Kirkman, the creator of the comic book series, doesn't want to drag out the storyline too much. And, it might have been, I don't know, it might have been, boring to stay in the Commonwealth for a long period of time with, no big action scenes or anything. Because, obviously, it's probably political, it's probably a more political storyline than in some of the other storylines of The Walking Dead. But, I feel like I don't know. I feel like there was just a lot more opportunities for conflict to be had within the Commonwealth. They're not utilized because Kirkman is trying to wrap up the storyline as soon as possible. And on top of that, there are just like so many characters who have been there are just so many characters who that Kirkman has introduced by this point in the series that it's just like it feels like a lot of them are sort of thrown to the sidelines and not really given a proper ending point for what they have. I mean, and in regards to Kirkman, him having to, if like he was worried about like people thinking the Commonwealth storylines like too boring or anything or too dragged out, like there's literally been an entire volume of the Walking Dead comic book series where it's just like. It's just like them trying to rebuild Alexandria basically after the No Way Out storyline, which was cut from the TV show because I'm guessing because if they had included all of that for like 3 episodes of the show, then it would have been maybe kind of boring, whereas they just basically time skipped and skipped to the gang meeting Jesus, which is what happens in the show. But I mean, it's just like, my point is that obviously in the show, like there is more time dedicated to a lot of things, whereas in the comic book, it's more fast-paced, but it's not like Kirkman has it's not like Kirkman has just rushed through everything where, there have been times where he's legitimately been able to give a lot of time and focus to certain arcs, like for example, the Negan arc in the comic books, which goes on for like quite a few volumes, a lot of them. I don't remember exactly how many. I think it's like maybe 6 or so. And with the Commonwealth, I don't know, it just feels like it was wrapped out too fast for this final arc of the series that was introduced. So, I mean, like, for example, Pamela Milton, the leader of the Commonwealth, just ends up ceding power to Rick, like, incredibly quickly, when there should have been, like, way more of a complex and interesting struggle within the community, and it just seems like she gave up way too easily, and it sort of robbed the arc of much more potential drama in it. And I don't know, it also is just kind of ridiculous how a bunch of citizens rally around Rick so quickly, like with him, like literally despite the fact that he's only in the Commonwealth for maybe 8 issues in the comic book, and he's just this leader that they all end up rallying around, despite the fact that probably a ton of people have basically never heard of him. It's just kind of ridiculous. And I mean obviously Rick is like this sort of leader figure who gets people to group up with him and follow him very, very quickly. But it's just like in times past where that happened, where that has happened, it's been in situations where it felt more organic and like that, there was more time dedicated to showing him getting people getting accustomed to him among the people who he was leading, and it was smaller groups, and it was points where it's very high stress and very high stakes, and I don't know, it's just it didn't really work for me very much. I mean, overall, I just don't think that overall, for me, the Commonwealth storyline is not anywhere near Kirkman's best work for what he has produced, and I think it really could have been a lot better and a lot more memorable, but it just really wasn't, which is why I'm really hoping that season 11B and season 11C of The Walking Dead from AMC are just the best as they possibly can be, to end the series on the best possible high note. I mean, so that's definitely a hope of mine. I'm hoping AMC can really deliver a lot of effort to this final season, and sort of wrapping up everything that happens in it, and because I'm attached to the series. I'm a lot of people dropped off The Walking Dead and stopped watching. I never did. I'm obviously, I haven't watched the most recent episodes because I don't have a subscription to AMC or anything, but I will watch them, and I will watch to the end of the series like I read to the end of the comic book. So I'm really interested to see how the series ends up concluding it, and I hope it's really good, and I hope they do better than the original comic book storyline. But anyway, so in regards to the ending of the ending of the final volume, so I do like the ultimate way the comic was ended with. It is satisfying seeing Carl all grown up with his kid, and that humanity has actually managed to come back and start rebuilding society without the same issues as the previous world. Honestly, what is strange to me though is that like the whole epilogue with Carl and the massive time skip showing how everything changed. Like I do think whereas the Commonwealth storyline was, I think it went on too quickly and wrapped up too quickly. Like honestly, the epilogue kind of went on for a long ass time and kind of dragged in a lot of ways. I mean, like I don't know. It's just like we spent a lot of time with Carl just like journeying around and kind of meeting people and having to go to court and having this big argument over these walkers he killed. And it's just like it kind of feels like it's padding a lot of time. It is cool to see all these characters in the future and stuff, but I mean, I don't know, it just did feel like padding a little bit. It felt like if we're gonna spend so much time on this epilogue, then we could have maybe spent a little bit more time in the Commonwealth. That's just my opinion. But I mean, also one thing, and I know this isn't like super significant, but one thing I do take issue with the epilogue is like why I don't know. I don't like Carl ending up with Sophia in the end. Like I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I much preferred the Carl x Lydia ship. I found it really interesting and cool. Like it's just much more interesting, and I feel like had much more development. Like you see Carl and Lydia start this really interesting and emotional relationship throughout the series with like the whole Whisper arc and everything, and then it just reveals in the time skip after the time skip, oh, Carl just broke up with her and got married to Sophia, and like I don't know, like there is some shipping bait between Carl and Sophia throughout the comic book, but it's just like it never actually goes anywhere, and it's just like to confirm at the end of the series that oh, Lydia and Carl just broke up and he got married to Lydia and whatever. It doesn't feel right. Like it doesn't feel like a natural relationship progression, and him saying that oh, he just moved on to Sophia because like he wanted to marry someone more normal. I don't know. It doesn't really make much sense to me. I don't know. I didn't like that aspect of it. I don't I took issue with that. But anyway, basically the last two issues of the Walking Dead comic book series, they're okay, honestly. Like they're fine. It's not a terrible ending or anything. I thought it was fine, but it's just not really like super great or anything. So that's basically my opinion on the last two issues of The Walking Dead. So if you have any thoughts you want to give, post down in the comments below. This has been the Aromantic Shipper. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, remember, just because you can't feel loved doesn't mean you shouldn't want other people to. Bye.